Hello everyone, I'm Laura Kalbag, and you will know that by the end of this talk because I've mistakenly put my name multiple times on some of the slides, so wait and look out for that. I'm the co-founder of Small Technology Foundation, and I also work in advocacy and education for Stately. When we think about accessibility and technology, we often think about screen readers, and these are these things that might read a link that says click here as click here. Link, and it's an assistive technology that blind people and people with low vision often use. But the thing is that accessibility isn't just about screen readers. There are many ways that we can make what we build and how we communicate with each other more accessible. Little pause. It's a long few seconds. Accessibility is making environments usable for as many people as possible. And so any environment could be part of that. If you're building technology, it could be for users on the other end. It could be how we communicate with each other inside of our teams. It could be the process that we use. But it's most important that accessibility is about accommodating the needs of disabled people. Disabled people are the only people who are excluded by something not being accessible. And disabled people make up like 1 in 5 of all people, and any of us could be disabled at any time. I tried to break it down into like a series of different things we can do. So one of them is trying to make what we build easy to see, and this would help people who are blind or people who have visual impairments. We also think about trying to make things that we build easy to hear. And so this can help people who are deaf or people who have hearing impairments. We think about all of the ways that we make technology and how might someone not be able to hear that. Next up, we have motor impairments. And so this is making everything that we build easy to use, easy to interact with. So this could help people that might have a low stamina for repetition. They might have pain while moving. They might have difficulty with their fine motor control. It makes using a mouse difficult, even using a keyboard difficult. And then trying to make what we build easy to understand. And this will help people who are neurodiverse or people who have cognitive impairments. There is a huge range that kind of falls under the bracket of trying to make things easy to understand. It might even just be that you're not a native English speaker and everything you're working with is in English. Generally, because of this, most accessibility is good usability. It benefits everyone. It benefits our day-to-day lives. It benefits anyone who is using the technology that we're building as well. But we've got to not forget that disabled people are the only people who are excluded by bad accessibility. So while we might be trying to sell accessibility in, hey, it's good for everyone, it's really important that we don't forget it is about disabled people. I've found working in tech over the last 15 years, and I've worked across a bunch of different disciplines, that it is most valuable when accessibility comes from our core values. It is in everything that we do. And it starts from the top, and it starts from the people who are designing our processes. But when I was a designer, I found that the most important thing was probably just the contrast between your text and your background color. That is a huge thing. Oh, and also not making random icons in your UI that nobody knows what these mean. There's also in design considering the size of text, like making stuff that's not too tiny to read, good for everyone. And also labeling your forms, like if you've got form fields, which, I mean, let's face it, most apps are a series of forms, give them some labels so people know how to interact with them. Across engineering, we have things like keyboard navigation. If you make what you're building accessible to keyboards, it solves a huge number of problems. A meaningful markup like HTML, really easy to learn. Why do so many engineers not bother learning it? And one of the biggest problems that we have across the web in general is just empty links and buttons. It's impossible for assistive technology to navigate these things. If we just have buttons and links that are based around images and icons, how can people use it? When I got into writing, I learned all about the importance of just using plain language, not trying to show off. And then when we have a lot of images and video, which in the increasing world of web, we have so much media, providing text alternatives for those things. And when we're speaking and when we're presenting, we do a lot of this on Zoom. If you're working remotely, if you're sharing your screen, zoom in so people can see what you're actually sharing. And if you are doing anything via video, provide captions and correct those captions. Don't just use the automated ones. I think it's just a case of throughout the entire process of everything we do, we need to think, how can I make this more accessible? How can I make this better, not just for my users, but also for my team? If you want to find more resources, I would really recommend the Accessibility Project. That's a11yproject.com. And also, I wrote a book. It's called Accessibility for Everyone, and you can get that from A Book Apart. Thank you very much.